Happy Jamie Green, the Solar Queen, and I'm coming live to you today to talk about why solar now. Like, why should you think about going solar right now in these next few months rather than waiting until the end of the springtime or even the summertime? And here's the reason why. The reason is if you wait till summertime, you're going to be in line to wait for solar installations to happen. And by the time your solar actually gets installed, if you wait until the beginning of summer or the end of springtime, you're going to miss all that beautiful, clean energy from the sun that is free to power the rest of the year. So it's really important if you're thinking of going solar, which I know a lot of you probably, if you're watching my show on a weekly basis or throughout the week, you probably are thinking, I wonder if I should go solar. Or maybe you're thinking, I know I need to contact Jamie and talk about how do I go about getting solar. So I would really encourage you guys to start thinking now about going solar so that you can capture the entire summer for solar. Capture all that energy that you're going to build up your net energy metering account with credits that you're going to be able to use during the winter time. So it's really important to think about getting the solar, going through all the proposal time, setting the appointment and signing up for solar now. Because it does take some time. It takes time to go through the entire process, which I'll share with you briefly the different stages to go solar. Obviously, the first step is to think about it like, I wonder how much I would save if I went solar. The only way that you're going to know how much you're going to save is by having a solar appointment or a solar consultation with someone like myself, which I encourage you to. And if you live across the country and you're wondering if I support your state, just send me a message and I'll let you know. And if I don't cover you in that state and I know somebody that does, I will refer you to someone who can help you discover how much you're spending on your energy, how much you're using, and how much solar you would need to be able to offset that usage that you're using right now in your home. And a lot of people don't realize that they could go solar and save money because they just never really thought about it. So that's why I come live to you guys every single week. So if you have any questions about solar and how it works and how much it's going to cost you, please put comments in. You can, ask me questions and I'll answer them. If they're live, go ahead and do it. And I'll bring up the question or the comment and I'll answer your questions. So when you go solar, the first thing that you need to do is reach out to someone like myself. You should reach out to me. And I'll ask you a series of questions about your home, like how old is your house? What's the condition of your roof? What type of roof material is it made out of? There's something on your house that, the power lines comes into your house through, from the street level and it powers your home. There's a rating on that main service disconnect. It's either if it's really old, it might be a 90 amp service panel. Traditionally, I've seen 100 amp panels in the area that I service primarily just because our homes were built, in the 60s and 70s and 80s. And the building code didn't require for new home construction to start carrying a 200 amp main service panel until the year 2000. So if you live in a community where your home is built 2000 and beyond, at least in the state of California, you likely will have a 200 amp solar, or not a solar panel. You'll have a 200 amp main service panel, which is usually sufficient for going solar. If you don't have that, if you have something less, you may need to upgrade it. And that's, something that we need to have a conversation about. So those are two major questions that I ask about your home. And then we discuss your location of your home. Do you have shading? Is there any reason why you wouldn't be able to go solar? For some, some people have a lot of shading and you might have trees that you need trimmed back. We can help take care of that if that means if you trim back your trees, if it meant sunlight would hit your rooftop and be able to generate your energy, then we should consider trimming those trees back for you. If you're surrounded by redwood trees that can't be cut down and it's just casting tons of shade onto your roof, then it takes permits to get that done. They don't like to see redwoods being cut down. Greetings, Mark. Are we talking solar? Yes. Peachtree Corners, Georgia, are you getting this? I have really excellent news for you, Mark, and all those in Peachtree Corners. I can help homeowners in Georgia go solar. So if you know anybody in your area, Mark, or if you're interested in solar, let's make that happen, or at least have a conversation. So thanks for watching, Mark, and I hope that you're having a wonderful Sunday. I guess it's evening time for you guys over in Georgia. And I sure hope that you were safe last week. I understood there was some tornadoes that came ripping through Georgia. So I hope you are safe and okay. So, shading is a factor. If you're, a lot of people will finance their solar. And what I mean by that is they come in, there's solar lending companies that I can work with, and you can get qualified to finance your solar system, which requires $0 out of pocket as long as you qualify with their credit scores and criteria. To date, I haven't had anybody have an issue with that. And if you do, you and I would have a conversation about how to improve your credit or other ways that you could finance your solar depending on which states you live in. So there's options for that. The other questions I ask are, are you planning to add a hot tub, which seems to be a common thing, and at least it was a common thing in 2020. It continues to be. The hot tub industry was hit hard because everybody's been home, and it's a good way to, soak and have therapeutic, just relaxing in warm water. I kind of want a hot tub now because I'm always cold. I can't seem to ever stay warm. And so I think a hot tub would be really helpful every night before bed. It would be really relaxing and whatnot. So, so anyhow, people are adding hot tubs. People are starting to add electric vehicles to their homes. Some people have multiple refrigerators and deep freezers, or at least wanting to add those type of appliances, a second refrigerator in the garage or a wine fridge in their kitchen or something like that. So I go over the discussion of what are you planning to increase in terms of your consumption when it comes to electricity for your home. That way we build that into your system now. And then the other question I ask a lot of people is, and I'm going to talk about this in a second, but I ask people, what are their plans if there's a power cut? What do you plan to do? Because you really have three options. The first option is here, Henry Carnelowitz. I want to get a suntan. You want to get well, you might have to move out of San Francisco and come to Marin County or go to the East Bay or South Bay if you want a suntan. But I think you're pretty tan, Henry. So I hope you're doing well. So batteries. So three options. Sorry, there went my hair. Look at that. Isn't that funny? Just make it. Gotta have some fun on my show, right? You have three options during a power cut. You just live through it and survive it. And you hopefully don't lose too much frozen food. Mark says, good stuff, Jamie. Keep up the good work and keeping us informed about solar. Absolutely. What I'm talking about with solar applies to residential solar. It also applies to business owners that have warehouses or big box stores, or you have an agricultural farm and a winery and you need solar, industrial solar, machinery, lots. This applies to everybody. So not just residential solar, but commercial as well. I have some really amazing technology on the commercial side that reduces the amount of panels by 40%. Than traditional ground mount and rooftop solar, and will generate 50 or at least 45 to 65% more energy than a traditional ground mount. If you're watching and you're a business owner and you are interested in this, in the description of this video is my email address. You can reach out for sure that way. I should put my email addresses here for you guys to reach out as well, because why not? And if you want to share this out, if you know anybody interested in solar, please share this video out so that they can learn how solar works too and how it will save money. So, so with when there's a power cut, and this applies to businesses too, you have three options. You just survive it. You power through. You don't power through technically, but you're just gonna manage your way through a power cut. That means you're going to use candles, and you're going to use camping lights, and you're going to cook on the grill outside if you don't have a gas cooktop. You're going to do all those things that I was just talking with someone about the other day about what we used to do up in Washington State. Growing up, we had a gas, or not a gas stove, we had a wood burning stove. And when there was a power cut during the wintertime, because I remember, I think it was it was called the inauguration storm. And I think it's when Bill Clinton was inaugurated. We had a massive ice storm, snowstorm, and the snow and the ice, the freezing ice and everything were like pulling down power lines. So that we were out with power for, I think, up to, I'm going to have to ask my mom if she remembers, but I think it was like 7 to 10 days. So we resorted to camping. Maybe this is why I don't like to camp very much. But we resorted to like living in our house with sleeping bags and our camping gear, and we would cook all of our food and boil our water on our wood burning stove, because it was like a flat top, and you could just put it in there, and we'd open it up and put our food like right by the fire and everything, and then close it back up, and that's what we would do. But that's your first option, and that's what a lot of people do right now. For if there's a power cut, they just have to live through it and get through. So yeah, that's the first thing that you can do. The second thing is you get a generator. And some people don't necessarily want to have a generator, because you have to make sure it stays maintained, just like any kind of engine. You need to make sure you keep gas or diesel, or whatever it is that the kind of a generator that you have, you need to be able to keep that on hand. And they're loud. It is nice that some people have the I'm typing in my email addresses for you guys for later on. There we go. It is nice that people have generators, because you can get generators that are going to back up the entire house, which is awesome, because backup batteries, while they're really great, they won't, unless you have multiple backup batteries that can back up the entire house, you won't have whole house backup power. Okay, so let's see. I got some. Well, that sounds like fun. No camping for Jamie. The Boy Scouts will change that. Charles, yes. My kid, I was on a phone call with Charles the other day, and my son and my husband were off to go work on their derby cars. They're going to do like this derby car race and everything. So they were going and working on that. I grew up camping. It's not my favorite thing to do. And I think a couple of reasons why. I always got bit by mosquitoes no matter where we went. For some reason, mosquitoes love my skin, or my blood type, or at least my fragrance or something. And so I could be sitting around an entire campground, and I would be the only one bitten by mosquitoes. This really happened one time when I was like 11 years old. We were in Leavenworth, Washington. For those who know what Leavenworth, it's this really amazing Bavarian town in the eastern side of Washington State. And we were camping next to a lake, and the mosquitoes, I think I had over 100 mosquito bites on me. It was really bad. So yeah, just don't really care for the camping. I don't like sleeping on tents and on the ground, and it's just not my cup of tea. So I like resorts. I'm not gonna lie. Henry says, "Thanks, Jamie. You're awesome. Do you think batteries should be considered charged by solar panels for storage and backup power? If so, you can refer companies who can do battery installation." So yeah, Henry, that's the third option. If you don't do a backup generator, even if it's a small compact generator instead of getting the whole house one. People either go whole house or they'll get a portable generator. They even have solar generators. That's probably what we would get next, is a solar generator, because we don't have a backup battery. Backup batteries can power your home during a power cut. So generators and the backup batteries are the only thing that's going to give you power during a power cut. Now, the way that backup batteries work, if you only are getting one, you're going to have a critical load. So you're going to have a little sub panel with just the critical loads that you want to power during a power cut. So it's not whole house unless you go and get multiple batteries and have the right inverters to power your home and do whole home backup. But if you have one backup battery, it's going to power the critical loads during a power cut during the daytime. And simultaneously, the solar panels are going to, power your critical loads in the house and recharge the backup battery. So, and then once the sun sets, the backup batteries are going to carry you through the night. Again, you're not going to be able to power your whole house. So, yes, the best thing to do is, if you are going to go solar and you're thinking about backup batteries, the time to do it is now. So you want to do it together. And Henry, I can help residential and commercial do all of that, set up the solar, the storage, and EV chargers as well for residential. For businesses that, might have customers coming in and they want to charge their car while they're shopping in your store or visiting your warehouse or whatnot. EV car chargers are another thing that we can install as well. Great question, Henry. Thanks for sharing this out, Mark. I appreciate it. Charles, you and Jamie should hook up and provide a homeowner a customized home with solar. Yes, we have talked about that, Mark. It's actually pretty, new home construction in California does require solar to be installed. So every new home that you're going to see in California is going to have a solar offset. It doesn't necessarily mean that the entire house and their usage is going to be covered by solar. That's a whole nother conversation, but something, that's coming, and California is leading the way in that. And in fact, California has the #1 adoption rate. I would say per capita it's Hawaii, but for, in terms of, the lower 48 states, California is leading the way, and we're still not very far. We haven't adopted solar as quickly as we need to. So part of the building code is for new construction is to have solar panel number. They have to have, I'm seeing between 6 and 8 panels, but I don't know what size those panels are. So I'm not sure what system size it is exactly on a new construction home, but I think new construction homes are at least 2,000 square feet. They're much more energy efficient than, homes built in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. I feel like I'm talking about music, but but if a homeowner goes in there and it's a 3,500 square foot house and they have 4 or 5 people living in there and they're all using a lot of energy, you can imagine that they're probably going to use more energy than those, just a few panels on the rooftop. So let's see. It's because you are delicious. I'm not quite sure what that means, but thank you, Henry. Oh yeah, no camping for her, no roughing it. I'm with your wife. I'm with Darlene. I do not like camping. I will though go to Yosemite and I will do the glamping. At I think it's called housekeeping camping, where you go. It's kind of, they got these little cabins and it's still outside. Like there's no heat in there, but at least there's a bed and there's everything. You're not sleeping on the ground. Charles, you and Mr. Bay City. Yes, we're in the Bay Area. I just want to save my freezer goods and refrigerator goods. Sometimes we have $1,000 worth of meats and other goods, and we need to save those items. It's true. During the power cut of 2019, I remember it was in September and was the first time that PG&E was attempting to do the public safety power shutoff. It was right on the tails, of the fires and everything. They cut the power, and I feel like they did it intentionally for longer than they actually should have, because the weather really never showed up. But they shut it off, at least for us, for 5 days. We actually had to leave our town because the smoke was so bad. But yeah, we had just gone to Costco and loaded up and stocked up on food and packed our freezer with, frozen food. And then they announced the next day the power safety shut off. And so we got to save some of the meat because we froze a ton of water bottles and a ton of Tupperware and just packed our freezer. Did not open it until after we got back. I think it was last week where I talked about the penny test. And if you know there's going to be a power cut, or you're going on vacation, it's good to take like a little Tupperware bowl, like a little tiny thing, fill it with water, put it in the freezer, let it freeze, then put a penny on top of it. And if you, after, the power is restored, or you come back from vacation, you can check if the penny has sunk into the water, or, into the Tupperware to the bottom, then you know that your freezer and your refrigerator was without power. You would probably know if you had any digital clocks too, but sometimes the clocks can, the power can go out for 5 minutes or a few seconds, and then it resets all your clocks and everything. But that is a really good way to test to see if you've lost power, and you don't want to lose all that food. So a generator, a backup battery is a smart way to go if you don't want to risk that. So I know a lot of people have deep freezers. They have second refrigerators in the garage along with their primary. Many cities in California are not allowing gas hookups, so electric only. That is correct. The city of Berkeley is moving towards no gas in the homes anymore. And new communities are being built without gas, all electric, because the idea is everyone is to go solar. I know it's a national initiative. It's a California state initiative to get as many people solar powered. So yeah, that's what we're moving towards. You may want to mention that all new buildings are required to be all electric starting this year, and restaurants in 2022. Henry is very familiar with construction in the city of San Francisco. That's how I know Henry. And that's very interesting. Yeah, I didn't realize it was all new buildings. So Henry, if you know people that want like carports, like, shaded carports, I have the best solution for them. Of course, depending if it's a multi-level building and they don't have huge square footage of roof space, rooftop solar is going to be limited, and we'll go out to the maximum wattage size on the commercial panel size. But anybody that has parking structures, the top level should be all solar. So please reach out to me if you'd like. Yeah, so the things with the backup batteries, those are the type of questions I ask. Like, what's your roof like? What's the material? How old is it? What's your service rating coming into your home? Are you going to add any more usage to your home? What's your plan if there's a power cut? Are you going to just suck it up and live through it? Are you going to get a backup generator, or are you going to get a battery? And then we discuss, how do you want to pay for this? Because a lot of people think that it's really expensive, or that it's going to be a huge upfront cost. If you pay cash, it's going to be a huge upfront cost because you're paying cash for it. If you finance it, and this is how majority of people do it, it's going to cost you nothing out of pocket to switch over from solar, or from utility to solar power. And it's going to be a significant savings from what you're paying to your utility company to what you're going to be paying for your solar equipment. So that's really what the solar payment is for, is to pay for the equipment on a monthly installment. And there's different terms you can do and all of that. But really, that's what we did. We financed it because we're like, well, why don't we just do it? Nothing out of pocket. There's no prepayment penalty. So why not just go ahead and finance it, so we don't have to, use money that we might want to use for other things or other projects at a very low interest rate, as low as 1% for some. If you want to get a 9.99% loan, you can. If you want a 1.99, you can. It's just like a mortgage or a car. The lower the interest rate is, the loan cost is a little bit more. but you're going to still have a lower payment and you're going to pay less in interest over time. So it's a smart way to do it if you're thinking about solar. So we've made it very, very simple for you to go solar. And if you don't even want to have a loan, a personal loan taken out for your solar, there's ways to finance it through your property in certain states. Those are things that we can entertain as well. So there should be no reason why you shouldn't consider going solar in today's world. It's the solar has become so affordable, so much more affordable than the utility company. And I think that's what I really want to share with you guys is that you should at least consider it. Take a look. If it saves you $30 a month or $300 a month, you should still consider doing it, because we all know that rates are going to continue to climb and go up. In California, it's safe to say that it's 7% year after year. In other states, it's 15. They're seeing 15% rate increases. So solar, especially when you do it at finance it and have monthly solar equipment installment payments, it's hedging yourself from future rate increases. The other thing that's really important is to properly size your system, which is why having an appointment and providing your utility bill to allow the solar sales consultant to go and pull your usage or calculate how much you're going to need based on the questions that they should be asking you to be able to properly size your system, and then also account for something that's called time of use. So the 4 to 9 p.m., you're going to get charged more for using that energy during peak hours. And the same thing goes with the net energy metering. They're going to debit your kilowatt hour credits at a higher rate than the non-peak kilowatt hour time frame. So it's important to add that into the solar design. So you really are left at your anniversary date, when you get PTO'd, you're left with not owing the utility company anything. So that's how you really save on your energy costs. You're hedging yourself from future rate increases. You're owning your power, because once that solar equipment's paid for, the energy is technically free because it's coming from the sun and it's unlimited resources. Obviously, the sun sets and rises every single day. You should harness that power and power your life with it. So that's what I wanted to come in and talk about, why you should go solar now, or at least start the conversation now, and not wait until the spring or the late spring or early summertime, or even the summertime, because you don't want to miss out on capturing all the sun, all the power, the peak. So think of my head as, top of the summer, and my over here is this is January, and then this is spring, and this is summer, and then the fall, and then December again. That's kind of how the production of your solar system works. So think of my big smiley face as the time to cash in on that solar energy that's going to power your home throughout the year. So how's that for a visual if you're still watching? So that's really, and that's why you don't want to wait until it's too late. Otherwise, you're going to miss out. You're going to start, if you go solar, late summer and fall time, you're going to feel like it doesn't make sense to you, because you're going to see your true up charges. You're going to start out at a deficit, and then you're going to have to wait until the summertime to start generating the energy you need to then, build up your net energy metering account for the rest of the year. So your savings, really it's whenever, but you really should just get it during the summertime. Excellent explanation of the use of solar power. Thank you, Charles. Thank you very much. I'm glad it's making sense, because it really is quite simple once you understand how solar energy works, how how you can eliminate your PG&E bill. You can't get rid of your gas bill unless you switch all of your appliances, your water heater, your gas furnace, your gas dryers, or your gas cooktops and ovens over to electric. I know that a lot of counties will give you incentives for moving gas appliances over to electric when you go solar. So if you're thinking of doing that, you want to build that into your solar system at the front end. So it's really important to make sure these conversations are happening so you get enough solar to begin with. And you guys, I'm helping people go, 120, 130% offset, and they're still saving on their month, what they're paying to PG. The difference between what they're paying in a monthly solar payment to what they're paying right now monthly to PG&E, they're still saving money. It's ridiculous. So there's no reason why homeowners, especially in California, shouldn't consider going solar. And unfortunately, not everyone can for various reasons, shading, credit. People that don't have good credit will look at other options for them, but there's no reason why they shouldn't go solar. Some things are, we just can't. There's too much shading going on, or their house is positioned in the wrong place, or maybe they don't have enough roof space. If they didn't have enough roof space, we would go to the maximum wattage panel, and then we would offset your energy cost a little bit, but then we'd have to really look at if that makes sense or not. So if you are a business owner, if you have a company, if you want to come in and be a hero and help your company cut costs, like ridiculous costs, hit me up on an email. Here's for commercial, it's jamie@excelsiorsolar.com. You can send me an email there. If you want to just go and fill out a form online, you can go to www.excelsiorsolar.com and fill it out there. It'll trigger an email, like notify me to contact you. If you're interested in solar for your home, and if you're watching on Facebook or Instagram after I post this, you can send me a DM, or if you want to send me an email, send it to me at jamie@jamiegreenthesolarqueen.com. It's just a nice way to keep commercial and residential separate, and I can help you and put everything together and get you a quote and get you solar installed. The one thing I wanted to say about backup batteries, because I was kind of talking about how I'd talk about this later. LG is a big supplier of backup batteries. LG just came out and I verified this with LG, that they have a shortage on backup batteries. So it is affecting some of my customers. So we're holding off on offering backup batteries until about the May timeframe. May timeframe is when they anticipate having their supply back in working order. The other thing, Tesla Powerwalls are another option. I can offer that for some people. Powerwalls, I know for a while they were having supply chain issues. It sounds like it's not. They're starting to come back and become available. So batteries are in high demand, as well as they're having supply chain issues. So if you're really, really considering solar with a backup battery, we can go ahead and get started on the process, but you just would need to wait to have your solar installed in May. And the reason being for that is because at the time that your project goes into design and permitting, that battery has to be on there. And if it's not on there, then it's going to probably cost you a lot more to have it put on after the fact. So we like to do the system with the battery already, planned out. It goes into the engineering and design. It goes into permitting. If you don't have that battery on there, you're going to fail your inspection. So we don't want that to happen. And what we want you to pass your inspection. We want you to because it also goes on to your net energy metering agreement, that there's a backup battery on there. So we want there to be no holdups, but you will have to wait until May to get it all installed. And of course, there may be a bottleneck there of installation. So that's the other reason why you want to think about it now instead of waiting until summertime, because you may have to wait a lot longer, because there's only so many installers that can only install so much solar on rooftops. I know they're scrambling to get crews hired and trained up and be able to put solar on rooftops as well. So get in line before the summertime comes. And backup generators those are good options. They're going to last you a lot longer than a battery. And for those that want a generator installed with their solar system at the same time, I can offer that as well. So there you have it, guys. That's my show for today. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your Sunday evening. My kids are happily playing their iPads with their friends and they're playing their games, and my husband is out playing a round of golf. So I thought I would do my solar show a little bit early. I might start just doing it at 4:30 on Sundays. You guys let me know. But I really appreciate all those who chimed in and commented and asked questions. Again, if you're interested in solar, please send me a message. Send me an email at Jamie Green, the Solar Queen. For commercial, agricultural, industrial, send me an email at jamie@excelsiorsolar.com. Until next week, I might even pop on and do some more videos this week, just little things that come up and come to my mind that I want to share. I will do that. But I'll see you next Sunday if I don't see you before then. So stay healthy, stay happy, and make it a great week. Bye.